Hello and welcome to Living Well, your show for healthy information and inspiration. My name is Karen Fabian and I am your host, and thank you so much for watching. We've got a neat show for you today. We're going to be covering the topic of making a career transition. We're going to bring on Hanneke Antonelli, and she's a life coach and career transition expert. And she's going to be talking with us about how to make a shift from something you're doing where maybe you're not feeling like it really fuels your passion into something a little more consistent with things that you love to do. And we're also going to bring on a repeat guest, one of our favorites, Abby Gray, and she is a chef, and she also made a career transition into that career. So we'll not only be talking to her about that, but we're going to be doing a cooking demo too. We love when she comes to share some treats with us. So if you're watching the show on the Boston Neighborhood Network, thank you so much for watching. After every show, I post it on my YouTube channel, which is Bare Bones Yoga, and so you can catch past episodes there and also share it with friends and family. And if you're watching the show and are inspired by something you see, please use the hashtag LivingWellBNN to share it on social media. I'd like to thank the show's major sponsor, Yoga Reaches Out, which is an amazing nonprofit that uses money raised at yoga events all around the country to support children's charities. And I'd like to thank my friends Deborah and John at Zumiez Coffee for also being a sponsor of the show. They're at 221 Main Street, and they have wonderful breakfast and lunch and lots of things they make right on site. Delicious. So let's get started with the show. I'd like to introduce you to Hanneke Antonelli.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Sure. So Hanneke is, as I had mentioned at the beginning, a life coach and career transitions expert. And she is previously worked as a money broker in London and New York City before pursuing her passion as a Pilates instructor, and then she transitioned into working as a life coach. She holds a Bachelor's of Commerce degree in financial analysis from the University of Stellenbosch in South Africa, and she obtained her life coaching certification through the Coaches Training Association, which is an International Coaches Federation approved course.
Yes.
So you kind of lived what you do and what you counsel people on.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, before we get a lot into kind of how you made the shift, just in general, what triggers people to want to make a shift in their career?
Well, the main thing definitely is like not feeling fulfilled by what they're doing, or no longer feeling challenged by their job, or proud, or a sense of purpose. That's normally what I see when people reach out, is that they're definitely unhappy and unfulfilled or unchallenged.
And so when they're kind of in that situation, they're starting to feel this is where they're at. What are some of the obstacles that get in the way for them to make a shift?
Okay, so the main one there will be confidence normally, and then the other ones that follow suit is either their fears, insecurity, self-doubt, and then self-sabotages, or just overwhelmed by what it is that they want to accomplish.
Do people run into some practical issues around money, or how are they going to, if they made a shift to something that they really love, how are they going to pay their bills type of thing?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that, and that's sort of a limiting belief issue, right? There's plenty of people, once you start digging around in any profession that you want to go to, that are making a decent living, or maybe even a lot more money that you think is possible. So definitely that is one of the concerns, is they'll say, like, now is not the right time because financially I'm not in the right situation, or they'll have some or other fear or limiting belief about the financial income that they can earn in that position that they want to pursue.
So it's really a combination of being planful around specific steps, but also a mindset piece, it seems.
Yes, there's a big
part
mindset piece. That's like the main thing, really, is getting your mindset out of the typical box that we like to put people in, and there's just so many careers out there for people, and so much creativity, where we live in a very beautiful, wonderful era that way.
Now, at the beginning, I mentioned a little bit about you made a shift. What was that like for you? How did you do that?
Well, emotionally, or how?
I guess from any perspective, I guess it was kind of a mixed bag. Huh?
Yeah, okay, so from the emotional side, it was definitely, I was a little younger, which obviously makes it a little easier.
And you were working in?
Well, actually, the first transition I did was moving from South Africa to London, having never even visited the city, right? So just getting up and moving, but you're 21, you don't really think about, you're carefree. There's so much that you can think or can do. You think that the world is your oyster, which is not wrong, right? Your mindset is so open and innocent still. But then the second transition that I made from moving from London to New York City, and then eventually from being in the corporate world into Pilates instructing, that definitely was way more running up against my own limiting beliefs and my own fears. So I definitely, I worked with a coach for a while now. Granted, when I went to her, it was more relationships that I was going for, or to her for. So she helped me there, but then it sort of has a ripple effect, and that's the beauty of coaching, is that, you think that the one area in your life has this problem, but once you start really digging, you'll see that you're repeating that little cycle in everything, because your thinking stays the same in everything that you do.
So you have to kind of get to the core.
Yeah, so you have to get to the core. And then I'm also just a risk taker. I mean, having worked in finance and in the Wall Street industry, I take risks.
Yeah,
so.
You're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe to a certain extent. Yeah, maybe more than other people.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and dive into this topic a little bit further.
Perfect.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
All right, so we're back. So we talked a little bit about kind of the process, but if someone's out there watching and they feel like they're ready to make a change, what are some of the things that they can do?
All right, so the first thing that I normally tell people to do is to really get clear on why they're unhappy where they are at right now, and also what they enjoy about where they are right now, because it's not all bad always. Like, we tend to kind of, what we focus on expand, so then it's all bad. But if you really go and look at and take a closer look at things, then you'll realize, okay, these and these things I still enjoy. So that's like sort of the first step that you can do. And then the next thing is to get clear on what it is that you want from a career. Right. And then from there, you'll find your next steps, basically. Okay. But that's sort of the starting point is like, why are you unhappy? What needs to change, and what are you good at? And then sort of take it from there.
All right. And so we talked a little bit about, you had mentioned you worked with someone. So that's probably something that you do.
Yeah, one-on-one coaching, yes.
And are there other ways that people can work with you around this process?
Yeah, so I also have an online program called the Ultimate Career Bootcamp, which is a 4-week online program that you can take in your own time. And it's a self-help program with video trainings, worksheets, transcripts, lots of useful exercises in there. And I actually start the first week with that whole mindset piece, right? Getting you in the right frame of mind so that you can really start to get into possibility thinking mode. And then I move into the second week, which is all about finding what your ultimate career is. So what is the career that's going to bring you fulfillment, that aligns with your values, where you're going as a human being, what you want out of life. Now, normally once you've done that, there's a little bit of fear that will creep in, because you're like, oh my God, this is such a scary process. So then I take the third week and really work with you on limiting beliefs, fears, self-sabotages, and how to work through fears and become more aware, essentially, so that you can nip those bad habits in the bum.
Right.
And then the last week is all about getting you to come up with a concrete, feasible plan. We work through budgets and accountability partners, and what is it that needs to get done for you to find that career or go and land that job. Okay. So that's sort of another way that you can work with me then.
Neat.
Yeah.
Neat. And they can it's online, you can do it kind of in your own time.
Yes, yeah. So you can do it in your own time. And the great thing is, like, you can either do that option where you just do that one, or just the online program, or you can do the online program and hire me together. So it's sort of a package together where you'll do the Ultimate Career Bootcamp on your own time, and then we'll schedule a 3-month coaching program out, and I'll help you really work through everything.
Okay.
And hold your hand a little bit.
How do people find you? If they
So they can find me online at hannikeantonelli.com,
Okay,
which
we'll
I'm
be
sure
showing that,
we'll
yeah.
put that down in the links below,
Yeah.
because that's hard. That's
Yeah.
a mouthful. hannikeantonelli.com, and you can also just email me at info@hannikeantonelli.com.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so you're going to stick around for our next segment.
I'm excited.
So stay tuned.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and daily access to experts to help your child thrive. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
All right, welcome back. I'd like to introduce Abby Gray.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Abby is a regular guest on our show, and she's going to be walking us through a cooking demo. I'm going to let her talk about that. But first, before we get into the cooking demo, I asked Hanneke to stay because you actually made a career transition to what you're doing now. So
I
just
did.
tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this is one in a couple I've done.
Where should we start?
Well, interestingly, food was always in the background. So always.
Which is kind of like what she was saying. There's kind of a common thread sometimes that.
Yes, and no matter how, like when I was working in corporate America, I asked my bosses to please let me do I worked in banking, and I would do the big banking dinners, and I would ask them to let me choose the wines and just kind of to get my foot in the door. But, unless we're all independently wealthy, one has to work. And I didn't want to be miserable. I'm going to be 49 on Friday. And thank you. And I didn't want to be miserable. I'm like, we've got another one to get through college.
Yep.
God willing, we will live long, happy lives. So I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. And I love feeding people. So that's kind of where it started. And I knew, naturally, I learned some things at the store where people liked me to teach them.
Because you had a store.
I had a store in
retail store.
Charlestown,
Yep.
yeah. And people liked me to teach them. I did a lot of events. People liked coming to my home for parties. They loved the food. So I was like, maybe I'm onto something. And I was, but I felt like I needed to go to culinary school to really make myself legitimate. And I started calling myself a chef the day I went to school, and then, nope, I'm not a chef yet. So, no, it was great. I got to cook. I mean, we've mentioned it before with Jacques Pepin and local Boston chefs, Jeremy Sewell and Jeff Fournier. And anyways, when they hand you their diploma, they usually say, "Congratulations, chef." And I still didn't feel like that then, but after 2 years, I practice every day. I do feel like a chef now. I can go in and teach. I have young students who come to me from Johnson & Wales or other schools who are coming in to work with me because they're great. They're great to work with. And they call me chef now, and I feel very happy about that because I really do. I practice all the time. When I make mistakes, sometimes they're great mistakes, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to figure this out.
Right.
And then I incorporated travel into my business, so we go on culinary adventures in different parts of the world. But I really wanted to be happy, and I wanted my girls to see that you can change, and even though change is really hard, you can do it. But you've got to, some days you've got to have, really good constitution because it's hard.
Right.
And you don't make money right away.
Right.
So that's
You have to
another
kind
thing.
of
If you
push through.
Yeah. And if you're married, your partner has to be on board.
Sure.
And
Sure.
You have to have a plan.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
So-
Well, those are all great little bits of advice from
Nuggets.
someone
Yeah.
who's lived it, for sure. Well, tell us what you're going to cook today. It
All
looks
right, so
amazing.
you know me. I like people to cook.
Right.
I think, and I like people to understand that things aren't so difficult. So this is a soup. So I'm always healthy, but I have myself lost 25 pounds because I had gained weight from an injury, and then I was just too fat, and I need to lose weight. So for myself, I wanted to be healthy.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about this because it's not like I'm not going to eat. I'm cooking all the time. So I look for really fresh ingredients always, like my garden. I'm growing things from my garden and herbs, but I look for things that are easy too for families. because I think you should cook fresh for your family. So this is a super fast, fresh fish taco recipe. I don't know a lot of people who don't like fish tacos. This is a flaky whitefish. This is a cod.
Perfect.
I don't know if you can see it. It started out as just a half a pound of cod, which you get at any at Whole Foods or your fishmonger or Stop and Shop, wherever it is that you feel comfortable buying fish. It was just a half a pound of whitefish, and we marinated it. And I'm just showing you. This is how big the marinade bowl was. You can just buy pint containers. You don't have to have anything special. And that was olive oil. And our recipe, which Karen will share with you, is olive oil, ancho chili powder, dried oregano, cumin, which is a fabulous spice. It gives it a little heat, but it's not tons. Fresh cilantro, a jalapeno stemmed and chopped. Don't be afraid of the jalapeno. All you have to do is take the seeds out and take the stem out. And then it gives it some heat, but it's not terrible. If you leave the seeds in and put it in your dish, it'll give you a little bit of a jolt. But so that is what that looks like. So then we put it, so we were talking before, you saw it whole. So then you just kind of, all you do is, I cooked it in the marinade. You just need a hot pan and you put the fish in. I used a little bit of the marinade because I think it's yummier when you cook in what you've marinated in, as long as you're bringing the temperature up, okay? And then it just flakes. If you get a good, if you don't even know what a flaky whitefish is, just ask your fish guy, could I have a flaky whitefish? You just want it to break apart because you're gonna make a series of tacos.
Okay, and then we're gonna assemble with this?
Yeah, so then we're gonna assemble with this. The other thing this has is Mexican crema. Ooh, what's Mexican crema? Well, just Google these days. There's Mexican crema, comes right up. And it's just sour cream. So I'm
wow, look at that. Right on the heat.
Right on the heat.
And I love the portability of that if you, for whatever reason, were doing something like away from your kitchen and you
or
wanted
at
to...
a camp.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
home
yeah.
cooking studio, and I didn't
That's
want to
great.
put in a huge oven because I don't really have the space in that studio. So we use these burners. Note to self, you also need to put in a extraction system that so this is really simple. All this recipe is the fish with the marinade we talked about, the crema, which is the sour cream, heavy cream, and salt. Don't get scared by the heavy cream. It's just a little bit.
Right.
You're not going to put this whole thing on all your tacos. This is marinated red onion, which you do in red wine vinegar, and you can keep this for weeks in the fridge, but it's life-changing in terms of taste and flavor, and it takes that zing out, so you don't get that terrible taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you can also, if you don't want to marinate in red wine vinegar, don't have it, you can always marinate red onions in water, ice water, and that takes the bad taste out. And then salsa, I didn't buy the salsa today, I bought it, but just mild or hot or whatever kind of salsa you want, and limes.
Excellent.
And corn tortillas. And corn tortillas are more low in calories, and they're a little healthier than flour tortillas, so that's why we use those.
Okay.
Okay, so now we will just, I'll show you how to assemble these, super easy.
All right.
Yum.
All right.
Okay,
So
we'll put that
we're gonna
there.
do one. We've got
So we'll do
another
one.
minute or two here.
Okay.
Get this going.
Oh, thank you. And the
All
key
right.
to that is you have to
Excellent.
loosen them. They're such a pain in the neck.
All right,
but
so
they're-
why don't you take one, my friend, and then I'll take one.
All right.
And we'll kind of get involved in making a little.
All right. So what you want to do is I can show you what one looks like.
Excellent. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You could add other things too. Like if you don't have
Yeah, I would
cumin, I would say add a little curry.
Yeah,
you just
and
want like
could
a little
do shrimp
heat.
in these. You could do any
You
other
could do
kind of
shrimp.
food.
Ooh,
Get very
yeah.
creative here.
Wow.
You could. And then I have my mini spoons, which is ridiculous, but so I'll use this.
Nice.
So we'll use this. So then I would do a little of the red onion.
Yep.
My hands are clean. I always just wash my hands. Everybody.
Those look great with the
sanitation.
The coloring. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a beautiful way to put them on a
Yeah.
salad as well.
Yeah, I could see that.
And we have a fly flying around. I don't
And
know
you
if
need
you've
a
seen it on
little
TV.
of this, right?
Well, that goes on top. So then you want a little of the crema.
Oh, look at that. Cool.
Okay, because you want. So when we're plating,
Lovely.
it's all about the presentation and how it looks.
Yeah.
And then we would put on with my mini spoons. These are tasting spoons. But I always say taste everything too. Before the segment, I think you saw me, I was tasting the fish and tasting the salsa and really just making sure that everything is fresh and okay.
And these are some of the things that you teach people how to cook when you do your cooking classes, right?
Yes. And this is, I mean, as you can see, the key to a successful night in the kitchen is prep.
Yeah, to have everything ready
To
so
have
you can
everything.
just assemble.
And then figure out what you're going to do if you don't have it.
Right.
You know?
Right. And the fresh lime is great. That's such a
Fresh
special
lime is
touch.
always good.
Awesome.
Now, I don't have a napkin, so
Awesome,
maybe
awesome,
eat
awesome.
it over.
Yeah,
Maybe want to try.
excellent. Excellent.
Or maybe over.
Yeah.
We'll just,
or you know what? We'll even taste a little of the meat. And
Okay.
we're probably going to be getting. We're going to kind of do a little tasting after we wrap up.
okay, so we won't make people.
Abby, how do people get in touch with
Here's
you if
some.
they want to do some cooking
So
classes?
so a couple of ways you can like my Facebook page, which is Cooking with Abby.
Cooking with Abby.
My
Excellent.
Instagram is Cooking with Abby
Okay,
Gray.
great.
You can
great.
email me at Cooking with Abby Gray, Abby with a Y, Gray with an A, at
Okay.
gmail.com.
Okay.
I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Just Google Cooking with Abby. I have a website.
Great. Great.
So, yeah.
Well, awesome, awesome. Well, thanks again
You're
for
welcome.
coming. That
You're
was
welcome.
great.
Thank
And
you.
Hanukkah, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
coming.
you for having
this
me.
was great. I
Thanks.
love the kind of merging of the topics. And thank you so much for watching. And between now and our next show, live well.